Hi there. Today we're embarking on a captivating journey as we step back in time to explore the legendary TV series, The Dukes of Hazzard. I'm sure many of you hold fond memories of this classic show. The Dukes of Hazzard is a timeless gem that has left an indelible mark on television history. Join us as we relive the magic, revisiting the series with the entire cast then and now. We'll uncover the original identities and ages of the talented actors from the show and witness how they've transformed in the year 2023. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of The Dukes of Hazzard together. Tom Wopat as Luke Duke. Actor Tom Wopat catapulted to stardom through his role as Lucas Luke Duke, the older of the two Duke siblings. With a background as a Marine Corps veteran and former boxer, Luke's primary mission was to outsmart Boss Hog's constant attempts to land the Dukes in jail. Beyond that, he introduced the iconic hood slide, a supremely cool move gliding across the General Lee's hood, etched into the show's opening credits and frequently showcased throughout the series. Much like his fellow star, John Schneider, Wopat's fame rose from relative obscurity to immense heights thanks to the Dukes of Hazzard. After the series concluded, he ventured into the music industry, releasing a total of 11 albums between 1983 and 2017. His musical journey included several top 20 country hits and even earned him a 1987 Academy of Country Music nomination for Best New Male Vocalist. Wopat also found success in musical theater, receiving Tony nominations for his performances in Annie Get Your Gun and A Catered Affair. Wopat revisited his beloved Luke Duke character, along with many co-stars in the Dukes of Hazzard TV movies. He also lent his talent to Dukes video games and garnered a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for his role as Sybil Shepherd's ex-husband on the series Sybil. Although he didn't achieve major screen stardom post-Dukes and faced challenges in his career and personal life, such as a 2017 arrest for assault and battery as well as drug charges, Wopat remains active in the entertainment industry. He secured recurring roles on Longmire and played a supporting part in Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained. John Schneider as Bo Duke. Beauregard Bo Duke, the younger, blonder, and more impulsive of the Duke brothers in Dukes of Hazzard, was a former stock car driver. Bo was often at the wheel of the General Lee and had a knack for finding trouble with Boss Hog and Roscoe, usually instigated by his fascination with pretty girls, leading him into reckless adventures. John Schneider, a native of New York, clinched the role of Bo Duke at the tender age of 18, launching him into television stardom for a remarkable 7 seasons. While his relationship with the character faced occasional turbulence, including a walkout with Tom Wopat over merchandising royalties, the series didn't propel him to movie stardom. However, it did pave the way for a flourishing career as a recording artist, with Schneider charting 4 #1 singles on the U.S. country chart between 1984 and 1986. Schneider's television success continued post-Dukes, setting him apart from many of his contemporaries. Notably, he portrayed Jonathan Pa Kent on Smallville from 2001 to 2006 and took on series regular or recurring roles in The Secret Life of the American Teenager, Nip Tuck, and The Have and Have-Nots. Additionally, Schneider ventured into directing and producing numerous faith-based films and established his independent production studio in Louisiana. Katherine Bach as Daisy Duke. Katherine Bach, famous for her iconic portrayal of Daisy Duke, the character known for her cut-off shorts that even bear her name, was much more than a symbol of beauty in the series. Daisy Duke balanced moments of naivete that often led to predicaments requiring the Duke brothers' help with an impressive set of physical skills. She was a sharpshooter with both guns and a bow and arrow, a skilled equestrian, and, on occasion, showcased her remarkable driving abilities, rivaling those of Bo and Luke. Her only shortcoming, perhaps, was her tendency to fall for the wrong suitor, even when Deputy Enos had an obvious infatuation for her. Before achieving stardom as Daisy Duke, Katherine Bach had a background in minor roles across film and television, including guest appearances on shows like Police Woman. It was her role as Daisy that catapulted her to television fame. Notably, a poster featuring Bach as Daisy sold an astounding 5 million copies. In reflecting on her iconic image in 2022, Bach revealed that she didn't view herself as a mere pinup. She had to navigate personal challenges at the time, including resistance to her career from her husband. Despite the studio's proposal for an oiled bikini shot, Bach chose to create much of her iconic image herself. While starring in Dukes of Hazzard, Bach made appearances on a few other television programs, including The Love Boat. After the show's conclusion, she maintained a relatively low profile. Although she reprised her role as Daisy for 2 TV movies, Bach's screen presence waned. She took on minor film roles and spent 2 years on the Family Channel series African Skies. Bach gradually returned to television in the new millennium with sporadic appearances, including a recurring role on The Young and the Restless, along with guest spots on Monk and Hawaii Five-0. Denver Pyle as Uncle Jesse. Jesse Duke, the wise and protective uncle of the Duke siblings and their cousin Daisy, stood as a steadfast presence in their lives. A former moonshiner with a deep-seated feud against Boss Hog, Uncle Jesse offered invaluable life advice, all while exuding a blend of curmudgeonly warmth and authentic Southern resilience. Denver Pyle, a talented character actor, brilliantly portrayed Jesse throughout the entire network run of Dukes of Hazzard. Pyle's remarkable career in front of the camera reached its culmination when he returned to reprise the role in the 1997 TV movie Dukes of Hazzard: Reunion. Before his iconic role on Dukes of Hazzard, Denver Pyle had already established himself in the entertainment industry. He notably led the musical Darling Clan on The Andy Griffith Show, showcasing his versatility as an actor. This prelude paved the way for even more prominent projects, such as his memorable appearance in Arthur Penn's groundbreaking film Bonnie and Clyde, and his involvement in Disney's beloved Witch Mountain films. Pyle also found comedic success as the mountain man Mad Jack on The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. Even after the conclusion of Dukes of Hazzard in 1985, Pyle continued to grace the screens, making guest appearances on shows like Dallas and securing roles in feature films, including Mel Gibson's Maverick. Alongside his acting career, Pyle ventured into directing, overseeing episodes of Dukes and other series like The Doris Day Show. Beyond his entertainment ventures, he amassed personal wealth through savvy oil investments. Sadly, Denver Pyle passed away from lung cancer at the age of 77 on December 25, 1997, shortly after being honored with a star on the prestigious Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sorrel Book as Boss Hog. At the helm of Hazzard County's businesses and government, as well as its clandestine operations, was none other than Jefferson Davis JD Hog, the infamous Boss Hog on Dukes of Hazzard. With a history rooted in moonshine running and a long-standing feud with Jesse Duke, Hog cunningly assumed control of the county through a web of corrupt land deals. He perpetually schemed for new ways to line his pockets while nursing a deep-seated grudge against the Duke family. Among his most lucrative endeavors was the notorious Speed Trap, a clever setup that consistently caught music performers passing through Hazzard County. Hog often presented these country stars, including legends like Buck Owens, Tammy Wynette, and even Waylon Jennings as himself. With an offer, they could pay off their fines by performing at Hog's notorious establishment, the Boar's Nest. Sorrel Book, a character actor hailing from Buffalo, New York, not only portrayed Boss Hog, but also brought his identical and honest twin brother, Abraham Lincoln Hog, to life on Dukes of Hazzard. Bookie's acting journey began early in radio dramas, and after formal studies at Columbia and Yale, he delved into stage and television acting in the 1950s. While he made appearances in notable films like Fail-Safe and Slaughterhouse-Five, the bulk of his screen presence was felt through episodic series such as Dr. Kildare, which earned him an Emmy nomination in 1964, as well as iconic shows like Mass and All in the Family. Book's portrayal of the unforgettable Boss Hog, often adorned with padding beneath the character's signature white suit, became his most widely recognized project. Even after the show's conclusion, Book continued to grace screens with his talent. However, his later credits largely comprised animated series like Tiny Toon Adventures. Tragically, Sorrell Book's life was cut short by colon cancer, and he passed away at the age of 64 on February 11, 1994. Waylon Jennings as the Balladier. The Balladier, known for crooning the beloved Good Old Boys, the iconic theme song of Dukes of Hazzard, also lent his rustic commentary to the episodes of the series from 1979 to 1985. His narrations skillfully wove together the diverse plot lines and offered humorous insights into the action, creating anticipation before each commercial break. Interestingly, despite playing a Fender guitar in the opening credits, the Balladier never made an on-screen appearance during the show, a quirky detail that amused Waylon Jennings, the performer behind the character, and was playfully noted on the album and radio versions of the song. The distinctive, world-weary voice of the Balladier belonged to country music legend Waylon Jennings, who had previously undertaken similar roles in the feature film Moonrunners, the precursor to Dukes of Hazzard. With a remarkable career that included 16 #1 hits on the Billboard country music charts, including the iconic Good Old Boys, Jennings began his musical journey performing alongside Buddy Holly. His destiny took a twist when he narrowly missed the fateful plane crash that claimed Holly's life in 1959. Jennings went on to become a prominent figure in the outlaw movement of country music during the 1970s. He also found success as a member of the country supergroup known as the Highwaymen, alongside Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and Johnny Cash. Inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, Jennings's prolific career left an indelible mark on the world of music. However, at the age of 64, he passed away on February 13, 2002. In subsequent Dukes projects, the role of the Balladier was undertaken by a series of other accomplished performers, including country music stars Don Williams and Mac Davis in the Dukes of Hazzard reunion, and Hazzard in Hollywood, guitar virtuoso Junior Brown in the 2005 Dukes of Hazzard feature, and actor Gary Cole in The Dukes of Hazzard: The Beginning in 2007. Ben Jones as Cooter. Crazy. Cooter Davenport, a steadfast friend and ally of the Dukes, joined them in numerous escapades against Boss Hog and Sheriff Coltrane. Initially depicted as a somewhat unpredictable character, hence the crazy moniker, Cooter eventually settled into a dependable sidekick role. He also offered his expertise in automotive repair, tending to the General Lee and various other battered vehicles. And for those curious about the term cooter, it refers to a type of large freshwater turtle native to the eastern United States and Mexico. Ben Jones, the actor behind Cooter, holds the unique distinction of being the sole series regular on Dukes, who also appeared in Moonrunners, the film that served as the precursor to the show, in which he portrayed a revenue agent. Prior to his stint on Dukes, Jones had graced several feature films, including Smokey and the Bandit, alongside Sonny Schroyer. Following the conclusion of the series in 1985, Jones embarked on a different kind of career. He delved into politics and served 2 terms as a Georgia congressman from 1989 to 1993, while simultaneously holding the positions of president of the Screen Actors Guild in Georgia and chairman of the Georgia Film Commission. In the present day, Jones has transitioned into the world of political commentary, regularly contributing to newspapers and cable news programs. He also manages Cooter's Place, a trio of museums and stores dedicated to all things Dukes, with locations in Virginia and Tennessee. Additionally, Jones takes the reins of the Good Old Boys festivals, which showcase Dukes cast reunions and musical performances, drawing thousands of enthusiastic visitors. James Best as Sheriff Roscoe Coltrane. One of the most recognizable characters from Dukes of Hazzard beyond the Duke siblings was none other than Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane, Hazzard County's law enforcement officer, known for his comically goofy antics. Initially introduced in the show's first season as a stern Southern lawman, actor James Best portrayed Roscoe with gusto. However, his broad portrayal proved to be a hit with young viewers, prompting the show's producers to transform the character into a purely comedic figure. In subsequent seasons and reunion movies, Roscoe became an eccentric personality, frequently coining affectionate nicknames for his brother-in-law, Boss Hog. He also developed distinctive catchphrases and uttered his trademark stuttering laugh. James Best, a character actor, embodied the role of Roscoe in nearly all of the series' episodes. He briefly departed from the show due to a dispute concerning wardrobe facilities, but later returned. Best also reprised the role in both Dukes of Hazzard TV movies, earning himself the title of Hazzard County's boss. His career began at Universal Studios as a contract player, where his native Kentucky accent was well suited for Western films and television series. His diverse portfolio included roles in science fiction, such as the cult classic Killer Shrews, as well as appearances in war dramas and episodes of renowned series like The Andy Griffith Show, The Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and The Fugitive. Before joining Dukes of Hazzard, Best enjoyed character roles in notable films such as Ode to Billy Joe, Rolling Thunder, and Hooper. These roles paved the way for his defining career moments during the 1980s and 1990s. Outside of acting, Best remained active in various pursuits, including painting, music, and teaching, acting to aspiring talents, including none other than Quentin Tarantino. James Best passed away at the age of 88 due to complications from pneumonia on April 6, 2015. Sonny Schroyer as Enos. Deputy Enos Strait stood out among his superiors as he held no grudges against the Dukes. In fact, he often complimented their impressive driving skills during the early seasons of the show. Enos dutifully followed orders to bring in the Duke brothers, but did so without malice, even if his pursuits often culminated in him unintentionally steering the police cruiser into bodies of water. One of Enos's endearing qualities was his long-standing affection for Daisy Duke. In Season 7's Enos and Daisy's Wedding, he came close to marrying her. However, the event took an unexpected turn as he broke out in hives, leading to the wedding being called off. Despite these setbacks, Enos and Daisy eventually found their way to the altar in the Dukes of Hazzard reunion. Although their nuptials faced another obstacle when Daisy's ex-husband, Craig Branham, resurfaced. Sonny Schroyer, the actor behind Enos, had already built a portfolio of supporting roles in numerous films before joining the cast of Dukes of Hazzard. His credits included appearances in notable movies alongside Burt Reynolds, such as The Longest Yard and Smokey and the Bandit, where he co-starred with Ben Jones. Schroyer's popularity as Enos even led to a short-lived spin-off series titled Enos. Additionally, he reprised the character on episodes of Hee Haw and Alice. Schroyer continued to bring Enos to life in both Dukes TV movies and several Dukes-related video games. His acting career extended beyond Dukes, encompassing roles like legendary football coach Paul Bear Bryant in Forrest Gump, former Louisiana Governor Jimmy Davis in Ray, and various characters in films such as The Rainmaker, The Gingerbread Man, and A Love Song for Bobby Long. Rick Hurst as Cletus. Rick Hurst portrayed Cletus Hog, a character who frequently joined forces with Enos in their pursuit of the Duke boys during 55 episodes spanning from 1979 to 1982. Cletus, being a second cousin, twice removed, of Boss Hog, assumed various roles during seasons 1 and 2, including that of a junkyard operator. However, in season 3, he became a full-time deputy at the Hazzard County Sheriff's Department. Similar to Enos, Cletus didn't display an overwhelming zeal for chasing the Dukes, but he did share Enos's deep affection for Daisy. Prior to his stint on Dukes of Hazzard, D Hurst was a diligent character actor who graced both the big and small screens throughout the 1970s. His credits included guest appearances on notable series like The Partridge Family, The Bob Newhart Show, and Kung Fu. He also made appearances in movies such as the Disney comedy The Cat from Outer Space, often under various aliases like Richard D. Hurst and Richard O. Hurst. Following the conclusion of Dukes, Hurst continued to actively pursue his acting career. He co-starred in the short-lived series Amanda's, which featured B. Arthur in the lead role. Hurst also made appearances on popular shows like Murder, She Wrote, The Wonder Years, and Perfect Strangers. Moreover, he secured featured roles in films such as Steel Magnolias and In the Line of Fire. Hurst revisited his role as Cletus in both Hazzard reunion TV movies and collaborated with James Best on his long-anticipated horror film, Return of the Killer Shrews. Notably, his son Ryan Hurst also became a prolific TV actor, boasting an impressive list of credits that include Sons of Anarchy, The Walking Dead, and The Mysterious Benedict Society, Peggy Rea as Lulu Hog. Peggy Rea, a character actress known for her versatile talent, graced Dukes of Hazzard with her presence in 19 episodes as Lulu Hog, Boss Hog's wife, and occasional foil. Lulu, who also happened to be Roscoe P. Coltrane's sister, evolved from the stereotypical rolling pin-wielding wife into a compassionate figure. She displayed a genuine interest in the Dukes, particularly forming a friendly bond with Daisy. Additionally, Lulu was a vocal advocate for women's rights in Hazzard County, a pursuit that required her to confront and outmaneuver her smaller but noisier spouse, Boss Hog. Peggy Rea's career in entertainment began on the stage during the late 1940s, and she went on to grace several Broadway productions in the 1950s. Television soon beckoned in the same era, with her initial appearances on I Love Lucy, paving the way for a steady stream of small-screen roles. She left her mark on shows like 77 Sunset Strip, Family Affair, and many others. Peggy Rea made multiple memorable appearances on classics like Gunsmoke and All in the Family. Her role as Olivia Walton's cousin, Rose Burton, in the final seasons of The Waltons solidified her status as the de facto matriarch of the Walton family, all while continuing her work on Dukes of Hazzard. Throughout her career, Rea remained a familiar face on television, with recurring roles in series like Step by Step and Grace Under Fire. However, her appearance on Grace Under Fire marked her final project in the world of small-screen entertainment. Peggy Rea passed away at the age of 89, succumbing to complications of heart failure on February 5, 2011. Don Pedro Ki as Sheriff Little. Sheriff Big Ed. Little stood in stark contrast to Roscoe P. Coltrane when it came to law enforcement. His debut in Season 3's My Son, Bo Hog introduced Big Ed as the no-nonsense sheriff of Chickasaw County, a neighboring jurisdiction that shared little love with both the Dukes and the Hazzard County Police Force. Big Ed's tough exterior was matched by his willingness to destroy cars with his bare hands or wield a shotgun when provoked. Unfortunately, despite his intimidating demeanor, Ed's ability to apprehend the Dukes was no more successful than Roscoe's. Don Pedro Ki portrayed the formidable Big Ed Little in 13 episodes of Dukes of Hazzard from 1981 to 1984. Standing at an impressive 6 feet 4 inches, this Oregon native and former high school athlete ventured into acting through an improvisational comedy group. His television debut occurred in a 1967 episode of Tarzan alongside Ron Ely. Colley's towering presence often led to roles as strong, silent characters, including appearances in George Lucas's THX 1138 and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Notably, he portrayed the enigmatic Baron Samedi, Lord of the Dead, in the underappreciated 1974 horror film Sugar Hill. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Colley found consistent work on television, with recurring roles on series like The A-Team and, of course, Dukes of Hazzard. He continued to grace both the big and small screens well into the new millennium. His final acting credits include Midnight Massacre, a low-budget modern adaptation of Julius Caesar featuring his Apes co-star Linda Harrison and Byron Cherry from Dukes. Tragically, Don Pedro Ki passed away at the age of 79 due to cancer in his hometown of Klamath, Oregon, on October 11, 2017. Jeff Altman as Huey Hog. Huey Hog, a chip off the old block, made a lasting impression in his 6 appearances on Dukes of Hazzard. This mischievous nephew of Boss Hogg took after his uncle, even adopting a strikingly similar appearance with his all-white suit and a white car sporting steer horns on the hood, albeit a Volkswagen Bug. Huey's sole focus was on devising schemes to bring down the Dukes, but his endeavors were as fruitless as those of Boss Hogg. Without fail, he was unceremoniously ejected from Hazzard after each of his failed attempts. Comedian Jeff Altman assumed the role of Huey Hog in all 6 of the character's appearances on Dukes. During the 1970s, Altman was a popular figure on the stand-up comedy circuit, as well as on variety and talk shows. His foray into acting came in the mid-70s, when he graced series like Mary Hartman, Mork and Mindy, and WKRP in Cincinnati, with his presence. Notably, he portrayed the purveyor of payola in a memorable episode of the latter. Altman's name found a place in television history as the co-host of Pink Lady and Jeff, a 1980 variety series that, although critically panned, remains a noteworthy chapter in his career, partnering him with Pink Lady, a popular Japanese singing duo. Following Pink Lady, Jeff Altman's career endured, and he went on to appear in feature films like Easy Money and secure recurring roles on TV series such as Baywatch and Nurses. His numerous guest appearances on Late Night with David Letterman showcased his comedic talents. Altman remains actively engaged in both comedy and magic performances, proving that his entertainment career has continued to flourish. Patrick Cranshaw as Doc Pettiford. Although Dr. Henry, Doc Pettiford, is more often spoken of than seen on Dukes of Hazzard, he plays a vital role in tending to the health of the Dukes and their friends throughout several episodes spanning seasons 1 to 3. In a memorable Season 1 episode titled Double Sting, Doc becomes suspicious of a potential plague outbreak in town and takes the precautionary measure of placing the county courthouse under quarantine. He resurfaces in Season 3's And in This Corner, Luke Duke, where he assesses Cooter's well-being after a lively sparring session with Luke. Doc's medical expertise also receives mention in various other episodes, including Season 2's Duke vs. Duke, where it's noted that he tends to Cooter's sprained ankle. Character actor Patrick Cranshaw portrayed the role of Doc Pettiford during his 2 on-screen appearances on Dukes. While Cranshaw is perhaps most recognizable for his role as the elderly frat brother Blue in Old School, his acting journey began in the early 1960s with minor roles in low-budget and exploitation films, primarily shot in his native Southwest. Born in Oklahoma, Cranshaw often found himself in diverse roles, such as playing bank clerks in films like Bonnie and Clyde, alongside Denver Pyle, portraying hobos in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and taking on countless senior citizen characters in various TV series, including Green Acres, Wonder Woman, and Different Strokes. Over time, Cranshaw climbed the ranks in the entertainment industry, securing recurring roles on shows like Alice and Mork and Mindy, where he portrayed the seasoned cameraman Jake Loomis. However, his path to cult status came with his appearance in Old School, a film that propelled him to fame. Following the success of Old School, Cranshaw kept busy during the early 2000s with roles in films like The Air Bud and MVP, Most Valuable Primate franchises. Sadly, Patrick Cranshaw passed away from pneumonia at the age of 86 in Fort Worth, Texas, on December 28, 2005. Ultimately, it wasn't the long arm of the law that brought the Duke boys to a halt. It was the decision by TV Land to remove reruns of the Dookies of Hazzard from its lineup. We're quite certain that many of you out there have a fondness for the cast of the Dookies of Hazzard and miss their adventures dearly. The show holds a special place in the hearts of fans,